The LSU Tigers have won a Week 1 football game. Yes, you heard that right. A season opener finally went Brian Kelly, or really just LSU's way. They break the curse. The jinx is done. They finally done it. And what an impressive way to do it, right? On the road in what they consider Death Valley Junior. They beat Clemson 17-10. Dominant performance from Blake Baker's unit. All the credit in the world to him. He is the MVP of the coaching side of things. Harold Perkins has a good game. That LSU defensive line, every single one of those guys deserves flowers. Just an awesome win for the LSU Tigers. Exactly the type of win that Brian Kelly smashed the table in frustration last year that they couldn't seem to find. And this year, they finally find it. Now, let's start with LSU since we're already on them. And I want to note, in our prediction video, we picked LSU to win thinking that this year it's going to be close, but they're finally going to bottle all those nerves up and get it done. And they did they did exactly that. Now, offensively, 17 points is not a firework outing, right? But the thing is we know Clemson, with Tom Allen specifically as their DC, that was their strongest unit. And Clemson's defense played a pretty darn good game, all things considered. But Garrett Nussmeier was efficient. He did what he needed to do. Caden Durham, 17 carries for 74 yards. A respectable night. He had a touchdown on the ground. That's what they needed. Aaron Anderson, 6 catches, 99 yards. Productive. Trey'Dez Green got a mix in there. That's exactly what this team needed. Everybody contributed. They did just enough on the offensive side of the ball. Now, towards the tail end of the game, I liked when they ran a screen down to the bottom, almost 4 plays in a row, if I'm not mistaken, with 3 or 4 plays in a row. Clemson was just giving them everything underneath, and LSU was just taking what they gave them. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more screen game action going on and just some quick RPOs and things along those lines earlier in the football game, but that's nitpicky. I still think Nuss went 28 for 38 with a touchdown. Everybody was involved, and that's what you want. Barry and Brown almost had that touchdown catch that was very, very close. The ball did move a little. I didn't even see that. But offensively, that wasn't what was going to win LSU this football game anyway. It was Blake Baker's unit all along, and what a performance, truly. I mean, they just stifled Clemson, completely stifled them. Blake Baker outdueled Garrett Riley in every facet. I mean, some of the stunts, some of the blitz packages, the defensive line in the trenches, the physicality and the effort that those guys played with was awesome. But the biggest difference from last year, and the golden stamp as well, goes to that secondary. Mansour Delane, AJ Halsey comes in the second half. Jordan Gilbert, in my honest opinion, played an incredible first half. Those guys were just locked down. Now, Clemson without Antonio Williams hurts, but still, I mean, that LSU secondary was clamped tight all game long. And then again, back to Blake Baker, man. There was a corner blitz on the short hash of the field that LSU hit the B gap. Adam Randall didn't even chip it, and that comes from an inexperienced receiver coming in trying to play running back with even more inexperience, not putting a shoulder on him. It's like Blake Baker knew every little niche to try and hit every single button, even buttons you couldn't see he was pressing, and everything clicked. And then the biggest thing, obviously, LSU comes up clutch at the end. And that defensive line deserves tons of credit. So congrats to them. Now, as for Clemson, it's just felt like the SEC is just not beatable anymore for them. Offensively, Garrett Riley and Cade Klubnik, this was just bad. For how much talking I did about the chemistry and the cohesion and the growth of this offense and how good they looked last year, this was terrible. Just flat out terrible. And I understand losing Antonio Williams during the game hurts. Like, you lose a big threat, but you bring in Tristan Smith. It felt like he was irrelevant, non-existent. Bryant Wesco, 4 catches for 66 yards, but nothing spectacular. Klubnik's accuracy was in question. An experienced offensive line could not pass block. But more than all of that aside, right, it was the running game. Clemson ran the ball for 32 yards. What did we talk about, and what did we say in our prediction and preview video was the key to this game for Clemson? It was running the ball. They have to supplement that offense by effectively running the football just a little bit. LSU did exactly that. 110 yards on the ground on 29 carries, 3.8 yards per carry. That's a winning formula. They only needed 17 points to win, so credit to their defense, but still, that is a winning formula to at least let Nuss breathe. Klubnik, on the other hand, his offense, 19 carries for 32 yards, 1.7 yards per rush. Just terrible. Gideon Davidson, non-existent. Adam Randall, 5 carries for 16 yards. He did have a touchdown, and a good effort touchdown there in the first half, so I'll give him that. There was no game plan, it felt like. Klubnik was running for his life. The offensive line couldn't block any way around. They were just beat physically, and it's just not something you expect from Clemson. I would have liked to see the ball out of Klubnik's hands quicker, and even when Garrett Riley tried that, they just couldn't get separation. Any slant routes, any hot routes, it's like they still could not breathe. LSU's coverage was, like I said earlier, clamped tight. Clemson had no room to breathe. They couldn't run the football. They couldn't throw the football. Klubnik, even when he scrambled, that was really about the extent of his ability to move around and move the football. So again, man, it felt like Blake Baker shrank the field down to like a 5-yard box that Clemson had to play in, and that's just all the credit in the world. So all things considered, it's going to be an interesting outlook for both of these teams. LSU, it just doesn't get any easier from here. It's only going to get tougher. But what a way to start your year. You have an incredibly talented roster with a lot of room for improvement. That's what you got to love. Plenty of room to improve, more so on the offensive side. That defense will still continue to get better and mesh with Blake Baker. Florida comes to town, I want to say 2 weeks, if that's correct, pretty soon. And the SEC slate will start. We'll see what they can do. As for Clemson, it also does not get much easier. I wouldn't compare Georgia Tech to LSU, but I wouldn't also consider Georgia Tech an easy game. Clemson gets Troy next week. They should win that one. We'll see how they use that as a bounce-back game to springboard, their ACC play and ACC season. But then they take on Georgia Tech on the road, a Tech team that gave Colorado the football 3 times and still walked out of Folsom with the win. So we'll see if Clemson's offense can find some identity. And it starts with that offensive line, and they've got to figure out that running back room. Whether it's Adam Randall, Gideon Davidson gets more touches, they find some different kind of depth. Klubnik's legs are used a little bit more in design runs. I don't know, but it needs to be better. Hands down, Klubnik's got to relax. He's got to find his rhythm. If they can get Antonio Williams healthy, we're going to see. So that's all I got for a reaction for this one, friends. We are going to do a film study video of Blake Baker's defense against Clemson. Some of the mastermind plays he put up to kind of put it into video as opposed to just my face sitting here talking all the time. Although I hope you do enjoy that as well. But I appreciate you guys for being here, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you, guys.